Hello, I am Josie, and today we're going to explore downward facing dog. So, downward facing dog is said to be a resting pose, but a lot of people that I know or that I've heard of don't think that this pose is very restful. And that might be because we don't really know what the pose is actually supposed to feel like or actually supposed to be aligned. We sort of just throw ourselves into these positions and don't even know how it's built in the first place. It's like trying to build a house and you don't actually know how to build a house, so how are you going to build it? That's why your house comes crumbling down a few times until you're like, maybe I should learn how to actually build the house before I build it. So let's start at the base. So step one, you want to calculate the distance of where your hands and feet should be. So we're going to come into a plank. Then this is going to be the distance of your hands and your feet in your downward facing dog. So just go from here to here. That's it. You don't want to be too close to your hands. You don't want to be so far apart that you're like, oh my god. So yeah, plank, downward dog. So your plank will determine the distance that your hands and feet should be from each other. You don't want to be too far apart. You don't want to be too close. You want to be just at the distance of your plank. That's simple. And then you're going to check out your foundation. So where is our weight mostly situated? And in this case, it's in our hands. So if you're placing all of your weight just on this side of your hand, because often what I see is this. So when we look at people's hands in yoga, often we see this. It's like a little cave, and you're on the side of your hand, and you're like, why does my wrist hurt so much? So yeah, you want to find this L shape on both hands, of course, but you know, with all of this video technology that I have right now, it's not really working, but so yeah, just practice putting all of your weight just on this side of your hand, and then once you find that grounding in those two knuckles, then you're going to place the rest of your hand down. And then you're going to feel what it feels like to have the weight all over your hand, and that's what you want. Then you're going to sort of do this grabbing action with your fingers, as if you're trying to grab the floor, but you can't actually do that because you can't actually grab the floor, but you're going to try to grab the floor. Imagine that you're grabbing the floor so that all of your knuckles are on the ground. You don't want to cave, you want this. All right? Step two is, what are your shoulders doing? Keeping the foundation in your hands, you're going to bring your armpits towards your face. So I don't want you to be like, okay, I'm gonna spin my arms around, and then, oh, your hands come up on the side again. No. So you're gonna keep the foundation in your hands, and then roll your armpits towards your face, and automatically that's gonna bring your heart forward a bit. Step four is you wanna bend your knees. So forget about what the pose is supposed to look like. Forget about what the pose looks like on that girl's Instagram feed that she's probably been practicing for like 15 years. I'm sure her first yoga practice was not as pretty as it is now, and even mine, my first practice, I didn't know how to do a downward dog. It took me about a year to like figure out, or for someone to point out like, hey, you're not really doing this right. So with practice, I now find ease and joy in downward dog. And by bending your knees, you're allowing space for your back to get long. So that's what you want. Let me show that for you. So I'm in my plank, and then I go back. And then instead of being in this weird like, oh, I really want to get the pose right, but whatever, when I bend my knees, I'm allowing space. And you want to let your head go. So yeah, bend your knees and your back will get straight, because that's what we want. We don't want curved spines. We do enough of that by sitting like this all day on our phones. Okay? Bend your knees, always. Strong foundations. Your heels don't have to touch the ground. Everybody's body is different. that might not happen for you. It might happen for you. Either way, it's beautiful, it's lovely, it's great. Yeah, and then breathing. Every time you inhale, you want to think about bringing air into between each vertebrae of your spine. And when you exhale, you soften into the pose. So it's this constant like flow of like bringing in length and making it strong, and then exhale, soften. So I hope that was helpful for you, and most importantly, always love yourself and love every step of the way. It's difficult for me to make these videos, so I'm loving every step of learning how to explain such a complicated pose. If you have any questions, let me know. Just add a little comment and I will try to answer it. Well, I will answer it. Yeah, thank you for watching.